I'm not afraid to call things aggressively. I'm not afraid if I think we have a good scheme and a kicking game to call a fake. I'm not afraid to run the ball 4th and 1, and we'll play to our defense at times. If we don't get that, we've got to go out there and stand up defense. Our defense has done that consistently throughout the year. We're going to play the strengths of our team. But look, I'm not afraid to call it aggressively. We went into this game with that mindset. So we've got to do a better job making sure we coach it the right way, execute it the right way, and come out with the results we want. But that being said, we're going to call this thing aggressively, and we're going to play it aggressively. And when you make calls like that, you let your players understand that you have confidence in them and that they can play the game aggressively. So we have confidence in our players. I want them to go out and play aggressively. I can't tell them all week that they have to go into this game with an aggressive mindset and then hold them back at some point where we feel we have a chance to make a play.
It's tough. That's frustrating. Not scoring in the red zone is frustrating. That's where we have to be better, and if we were better in that area today, things would have been different.
Why are you guys as a group having so much trouble creating separation right now? Is it because of the run game?
I don't know where people are getting that from, to be honest. Creating separation, is that what you're saying?
It's what the analytics say, the next-gen stats.
That we're getting, 2 yards of separation in NFL, that's open. So I don't know what the analytics say, but you can go off that if you want to. I know what I see on film, and for those of them that think that way, go look at the film.
You'll look at the game afterwards and realize the red zone efficiency, our defense making those stops is extremely important, and we were 3 for 3 in the red zone. So, Colt's a winner. He always has been. I grew up in Austin, watched him play at Texas. He's a winner, so he's going to always have whatever team he's playing for in the game, and so we just have to, stay in there and realize that as long as we don't go chasing waterfalls, we're going to be in the game.
Oh, there he is, Baker Mayfield, with that little smirk. We had the feature last night with all the pop culture references he has made. Don't go chasing waterfalls is a little bit dated, though, Chris. That probably was from a time before he was even born.
I think you're right. I mean, how old is Baker Mayfield? 24, 25, right around there? I mean, don't go chasing waterfalls is like, that's Chris Simms' prime, freshman years of high school right there, right? That's
Flock of Seagulls years.
1995, 96. I mean, yes. So whatever the hell the Flock of Seagulls are, yes, that was. It was those years.
You don't know what the Flock of Seagulls are?
I know
that the song from the 80s
gotcha.
with the dude with the blonde hair that was all piled up on top, that was you the night they put your dad in the Ring of Honor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right, we probably have video of that somewhere if we're allowed. I don't know if we're allowed to play that.
Stay on task here. Stay on task, Bears fan.
Let's
Keep
stay
it
on
going.
message.
Keep the show going.
All right,
let's go.
Browns defeat the Giants 20-6, and look, this is what the Browns do. The Browns do not mess around with an inferior team. In all due respect to the Giants, yes, you were in first place in the NFC East. That does not make you a good team. Even though you won a few games in a row against NFC East teams, that doesn't make you a good team. The Browns know how to get the W when they should. And I respect that. There are too many good teams out there that will periodically step in a pothole against a team that they should easily beat. The Packers are prone to doing that. The Browns are not. The Browns' losses this year have only come against teams that should have beaten them, and they've busted the narrative recently by beating the Titans and giving the Ravens everything they could handle. And last night was great because it reestablished the Browns on a short week, Chris, after they had that heartbreaking loss. It easily could have gone the other way. One loss could have become 2, right? Well, they're back, and now they've got 10 wins for the first time since 2007. It's amazing, and they're on their way to the postseason. It's not clinched yet. And when you look at both the NFC and the AFC, there is a good team that's going to get kicked to the curb in both conferences, and the Browns are still in danger of being that team. But they've reestablished, and Baker Mayfield has gotten better and better and better. Goes back to the bye week. We talked about that last week. It was the bye week when they had a chance to reassess, refocus, regroup, and understand what they were doing going forward, and it's worked. Credit to the Browns and credit to Baker Mayfield.
No, it is amazing. I mean, they really have kind of found their zone. Baker Mayfield, last few weeks, he's playing, quarterback as good as anybody in football. I mean, you really can't argue that. He's on fire for what he's doing. And you're right. Like the Ravens game, they took it as a positive step. You know, they took it as, and hey, we were really the better team on the field. They just had a crazy guy who was awesome, and he beat us. But there was still a lot of good in what they did. And, you know, they stamped that home with the performance last night. You know, again, last night, too, with Baker Mayfield, he's just throwing the ball perfectly. And then the decisions are, you know, quick and on point. There's no second guessing like we saw early in the year sometimes with the pumping of the ball and, you know, recocking it back a few times. You're kind of seeing him get back in the pocket. He knows what he's looking for, and he lets that go. And that Giants defense last night, we've talked about it a lot. Their D-line, it's as big as anybody in football. They weren't going to let the run game beat them. They were going to make Baker Mayfield throw the ball and have to do it. And the way he's throwing it right now, and Higgins and Landry and everybody are catching the ball, they're tough to stop. You can see here with the stats. I mean, doesn't matter. Play action, down the field, blitz, whatever it is, Baker Mayfield's finding the open guy and hitting receivers downfield for big plays.
And with the Colts and the Titans winning and the Dolphins winning and the Ravens winning, there was pressure on the Browns last night. If they had lost, they would have tumbled out of the top 7 in the AFC. So they desperately needed that win. They did not play like a desperate team. The team that played like the desperate team last night was the New York Giants. Multiple occasions in range for an easy three-pointer.
Oh, man.
Either going for it or dusting off the playbook pages that had dust on them for a reason. Here's Joe Judge talking about the decision on multiple occasions last night to not take the field goal, but to instead be aggressive, because we have to be aggressive.
Field goals weren't going to win this game. So, look, I'm not afraid to call things aggressively. I'm not afraid if I think we have a good scheme in a kicking game to call a fake. I'm not afraid to run the ball in 4th and 1. And we'll play to our defense at times. If we don't get that, we've got to go out there and stand up defense. Our defense has done that consistently throughout the year. We're going to play the strengths of our team. But, look, I'm not afraid to call it aggressively. We went into this game with that mindset. So we've got to do a better job making sure we coach it the right way, execute it the right way, and come out with the results we want.
Well, you know, if you close your eyes and listen to it, he talks a lot like John Harbaugh. At first, I thought it was Harbaugh, just hearing the voice.
No, it's very similar.
The rhythm and the
they
pattern
talk
of the voice.
It. Right, yeah.
But look, against teams like the Chiefs, I remember when John Harbaugh's Ravens playing the Chiefs early in the season, got down close on the first drive. You got to get a touchdown. You can't get anything but a touchdown when you're playing the Chiefs. The Browns aren't in that same category yet, where you've got to get touchdowns instead of field goals. No, you take the points where you can get them. You put the pressure on the Browns offense. You slowly apply more and more pressure. You keep it close as long as you can, and then maybe you can steal it from them late in the game. This is not a team yet. Maybe they'll get there. This is not a team yet where you always choose touchdowns over field goals, Chris. That's my opinion. Do you agree?
Mike, you know me. I'm Johnny Conservative when it comes to that stuff. I'm always the guy right on Sunday that's going, kick the field goal. Play the game a little bit. We don't have to win it right now on play 17 of the first quarter, where it's like, we're going to win the game right now, even though there's 90 more plays to go. For some reason, we're going to pick this one to where it's all going to be decided. We're in the age of analytics. And, when it's right, it's, hey, analytics are great. When it's wrong, it's aggressive. And the analytics told me, are the analytics ever wrong? Are they ever wrong? I mean, because it just seems like they're always right. But
no, they're never wrong. Numbers never lie.
No, you're
they're
right.
Always right. They're always right.
I know.
You must defer to the analytics.
But there's never a time where the analytics say kick a field goal. It's always go for it. That's the right decision. The numbers say go for it. I don't, I go for it. Okay. But I'm with you with last night. This game was meant to be a defensive, run-the-ball, struggle type of football game. Joe Judge is been kicking butt managing football games. He manages games to a T. He really does. I understand the aggressive approach and all of that. But, yeah, last night I was sitting there on my couch at home going, kick the field goal. So what? Let's go up 9-7. Let's be down 13-9. I just kept thinking when they scored the late touchdown in the football game, I kept going, man, it'd be nice if the game was 20-12 right now. We'd still be in a one-score game. I'm saying we because I'm a Giants fan. So I'm surprised by that approach, especially, early on they had shown the ability to stop the Browns a little bit and slow them down. It didn't look like there was nothing to scare you to go, like you're talking about, whoa, we can't stop the Browns tonight. We got to score points, and we got to score touchdowns, not field goals. There was nothing that said that. That was my only complaint of the football game. I was just mad at that.
At the risk of incurring the wrath of the analytics mafia, and let me preface my comments by saying there definitely is an important place in the game,
of course,
for this kind of next-level nuanced. We talked about it last segment about Drew Brees. He only had one interception. Well, it doesn't reveal how many he could have had that were dropped by the defensive backs. But the notion that taking the outcomes of specific moments in football games, going back X number of years, thousands of iterations, to get to this final conclusion that it's 50.1% this way and 49.9% that way. The thing that we forget when we do that is that a coach doesn't have the benefit of thousands of opportunities to do that to the point where the trend favors him. If you're an NFL coach, you only have so many of these moments that if you blow them, you don't have a job anymore. So when you take the next coach and the next coach and the next coach and you run it over a course of a generation, maybe the trend goes against what the guy should have done.
Yeah, right.
But if you're thinking about now, if you're thinking about winning this game and doing well in this season and laying the foundations so you don't get fired after 2 or 3 years, sometimes you have to go against the numbers. And that's okay. You have to have someone who's got the hands on the wheel of the ship and knows when to steer into the storm and steer away from the storm. And no, I don't know enough nautical terms to come up with a good example there. But the point is, the captain knows and needs to be trusted to know what to do. And if we're going to let the captain's hands be tied by just one factor, when there are so many factors that are driving that decision-making, that's not good for the team. That's not good for anybody.
No, I mean, that I think you explained it perfectly. You're right. There's a lot there, and it doesn't necessarily always take into account the particular circumstance of that day. Analytics are great, but it doesn't always, oh, hey, is that taking into account it's a backup quarterback and a backup running back, on a 4th and 2 situation? Does that, increase, decrease chances, all of those issues? Oh, hey, we're a little banged up on the offensive line. What does that do to that, probability of, hey, go for it here in this situation? Okay, I know going for it in this situation, the probabilities are good, but how good are they when I, are beat up on the offensive line and we got backups in? What's the probability go to there? That's just where I argue. It's a game where the Giants and Colt McCoy, we know they've struggled on offense. I mean, they beat the Seahawks. Yes, they struggled last week, but it's just one of those things where I looked at it like, get some points early, get some confidence, just get the offense going. Instead, it became like, oh, man, put 2 decent drives together and came away with nothing. Damn, and that to me was deflating in the football game overall and gave the Browns the confidence of kind of being in control throughout and never really being threatened that way.
The good news for the Giants, they still are very much alive in the NFC
Yes, they
East
are.
because the team that's in first place lost. Look, it was a great day for the Dallas Cowboys because Eagles lost, Giants lost, Washington lost, Cowboys won somehow. But the Giants, all they have to do is catch Washington because they swept Washington. So 1 game back with 2 games left, and we'll see how it plays out, but the Giants can still win that division. The one thing we know from yesterday in the NFC East, the team that wins the division will not have a winning record. So 8-8 is the best we're going to get if Washington wins their last 2. Everyone else has 9 losses, and there's the Eagles with 9 losses plus that 1 tie, putting them in the basement.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.